Deep inside Russian territory, a sprawling microelectronics plant, the literal brain center for Vladimir Putin's most lethal precision missiles, just went up in flames. This isn't just another frontline drone skirmish. It is a massive, highly strategic decapitation strike deep behind enemy lines. Ukrainian forces have unleashed British-made Storm Shadow cruise missiles right into the heart of Bryansk, completely obliterating the main production facility of the Kremny L plant. But this high-value military victory carries a heavy, controversial price. According to Russian officials, 6 civilians are dead and dozens more are hospitalized, prompting furious, immediate accusations of terrorism from the Kremlin. As Moscow points the finger directly at London, claiming this deep strike capability is mathematically impossible without British operatives on the ground, the war has just crossed a terrifying new red line. Kyiv is proving that despite Russia's heavy GPS jamming and layered air defenses, no military asset is safe. But with civilian casualties mounting and Western weapons detonating 60 miles inside sovereign Russian territory, are we inching closer to a direct, catastrophic NATO-Russia confrontation? Before we break down the high-tech weaponry destroyed inside that factory, the furious meltdown from Russian military bloggers, and the Kremlin's chilling warning to the UK, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and tell me in the comments, is Britain now an active participant in this war? Let's dive into the intelligence. The tactical reality of the battlefield just shifted dramatically. According to rigorous on-the-ground reporting and verified military footage, Ukrainian forces executed a devastating precision strike on Tuesday against the Russian city of Bryansk. The primary target was Kremny L, a sprawling, heavily guarded industrial complex situated roughly 60 miles inside Russia's western border. This facility isn't just a generic factory. It is the nervous system of the Russian war machine. Employing over 1,700 specialists, Kremny L is one of Russia's premier microelectronics enterprises. According to the Ukrainian General Staff, the plant is responsible for manufacturing the discrete semiconductor devices and integrated microchips that guide Russia's most devastating ballistic and cruise missiles. By Wednesday, Ukraine's defense ministry confirmed the absolute destruction of the plant's main production facility. Verified video footage circulating online captures the precise moment of impact, showing massive explosions and towering plumes of black smoke choking the sky above the complex. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was uncompromising in his nightly address. He confirmed the successful operation, explicitly linking the microchips produced in Bryansk to the exact missiles that are currently terrorizing Ukrainian cities, villages, and civilians. For Kyiv, this was a completely justified act of self-defense, a surgical strike designed to sever the supply chain of Russian terror. But the narrative out of Moscow is radically different. Russian authorities completely omitted any mention of crippled military production, pivoting immediately to the human toll. Regional Governor Alexander Bogomaz reported that the barrage killed 6 civilians and left roughly 40 others injured and hospitalized. Standing in front of shattered storefronts and blown-out apartment windows, Bogomaz recorded a grim video declaring a regional day of mourning and officially branding the strike an inhuman act committed by Ukrainian terrorists. The diplomatic fallout is escalating at a terrifying speed. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova accused Kyiv of deliberately targeting civilian populations and demanded an immediate United Nations inquiry. But the most explosive accusation came directly from the Kremlin. Spokesman Dmitry Peskov stated unequivocally that executing a precision strike with British-French Storm Shadow missiles, which boast a range exceeding 150 miles, would be functionally impossible without the direct, hands-on involvement of British military specialists. While Peskov offered no immediate classified evidence, the implication is a massive geopolitical escalation. Moscow is officially laying the groundwork to accuse the UK of co-piloting strikes on sovereign Russian soil. The successful penetration of Bryansk also highlights a massive, humiliating failure for the Russian Ministry of Defense. Despite heavy investments in layered air defense systems and widespread GPS and mobile internet jamming across the border regions, the storm shadows slipped right through the net. This glaring vulnerability has ignited an absolute firestorm among Russia's fiercely pro-war, ultra-nationalist military bloggers. These influential commentators, who heavily support the invasion but frequently roast the military brass for incompetence, are furious. Prominent blogger Anastasia Kashevarova publicly melted down on Telegram, branding the failure to protect Kremny L an act of criminal negligence and unthinkable stupidity. She highlighted the catastrophic long-term damage to the Russian war effort, questioning how much time, money, and effort it will take to rebuild the specialized production lines and train a new generation of microelectronics experts. The smoking ruins of the Kremny L plant represent a massive strategic victory for Ukraine, proving they possess the capability and the audacity to dismantle Russia's military-industrial complex from the inside out. But the stakes of this shadow war are compounding by the hour. By utilizing British-supplied Storm Shadow missiles to inflict civilian casualties on sovereign Russian territory, Kyiv is forcing NATO into an incredibly uncomfortable, high-risk position. The Kremlin's decision to publicly implicate British specialists isn't just empty rhetoric. It is a calculated diplomatic threat designed to fracture Western support and draw a new red line. We are looking at a hyper-volatile escalation ladder. If Ukraine continues to successfully systematically blind and disarm the Russian missile program deep behind enemy lines, Putin's military edge will be severely blunted. However, if the collateral damage continues to climb, and Moscow decides to retaliate asymmetrically against British or NATO assets, this regional conflict could instantly trigger a global nightmare. The microchips may be destroyed, but the geopolitical fallout from Bryansk is just beginning. Do you think the Kremlin will actually retaliate against the UK for supplying the missiles? Or is this just Russian bluffing? Drop your most brutally honest predictions in the comments below. Would you like me to help you draft an engaging YouTube video description and a list of optimized tags for this script?